Hello, my name is Michael Schmidt, and I would like to talk a little bit about asynchronous programming. So, what exactly does asynchronous mean? The word asynchronous has actually been around for a long time. By the mid 1700s, asynchronous had entered the English vocabulary. It combines the Greek-based prefix a, meaning not, with other Greek roots, syn, which means together, and chronos, which means time. So when we talk about asynchronous programming, we can think of tasks that are not happening in the same confined timeline of the program. In other words, the asynchronous task is a task that is delegated and acting independently from the main program flow. Perhaps this is best explained by comparing synchronous to asynchronous code. When we use a synchronous function, the program waits until the function executes every statement before moving on to the next line of code in the main thread. As you can see, there's a break in execution on the main thread. The synchronous function may or may not return values, but if it does, the values are returned directly to the main thread. When asynchronous functions are called, however, they are executed on a new thread of the main program, or are delegated externally, such as to an API. This allows the asynchronous function to execute its code at the same time as the main thread. As you can see, there is no break in execution on the main thread. Asynchronous functions return values through a different mechanism as well. Instead of returning data directly to the main thread, return values are sent to a callback function for processing. Using asynchronous programming has been essential to the implementation of my senior project. I am working on a mobile app for tracking inventory. Inventory item data is stored in a database on the back end. The mobile app uses an API to communicate with the database. Built using the Node.js Express framework, the API makes extensive use of asynchronous programming. Here is an example where I query the database to return item data to the mobile app. The method querying the database is an asynchronous function. The callback function is passed as a parameter. This callback function will not execute until the database query is finished. Using asynchronous programming frees up resources on the server to take other requests while the database is being queried. So what are some of the benefits of asynchronous programming? Asynchronous programming is all about efficiency. It helps the developer to manage functions that take longer to complete and that have the potential to slow down the program flow. This in turn results in increased app performance and ultimately translates into decreased wait time for users. This concludes my brief introduction to asynchronous functions. I encourage you to consider using asynchronous programming concepts in your own work when possible. If you have any questions about asynchronous programming or other related topics, feel free to message me. Thank you for listening.